What is up, guys? My name is CheapScissors and this is another update video for Realm Royale. This is like the third update video in the same week, which is crazy, and they've done a lot, which is really cool. Like, they've done a lot of weapon changes that I think are definitely needed, and they've done hitbox changes, and they've done a lot. I'll get into it in a second. But I do just want to say that in my rant video, I was really critical of random changes without consulting the community, and as of recently, all these changes are good and seem to be what the community wants. Whether that's, communication with the community happening, or if they're just seeing issues that the community also sees as issues, I don't know, because I haven't been in on the channels that they receive information. But I do know that all of these changes are good and they're working with what I think should be in the game and what a lot of people agree with should be in the game. So that's really good. Good on you, Hi-Rez. Go Hi-Rez. So what is in this update? Well, big news that a lot of people I know are going to be really happy about and really flipping crazy about is the alpha skins are out. The alpha pack with the alpha spray, the alpha chicken, the alpha avatar, the mount, which is called kaleidoscope horse, which is really weird. It's like this crazy rainbow thing. If you haven't seen my video on that stuff, be sure to click it right now. And then the T-pose emote, which is really cool, kind of funny. So all of those are coming out in this update. I'm not going to go over the skins too much because we went over all of that in the last update, but they do have some names now. So, Kaleidoscope Horse, the emote is confirmed a T-pose emote. There's the Alpha Chicken, which is what they're calling it. So we know that sort of stuff, but that's not a big deal. You've already seen that in my last video. We're going to talk about all these crazy weapon changes that are going to impact the game in such a good way. They're making it a lot more skill based and they're making things a lot more balanced. No more slug rifle crazy around corner shots, no more crazy damage on fireball and stuff like that. And so what's really good about this update is not only they fixed all these things, but they're giving us stats for everything. That was one of my complaints in my main rant, in the rant video that I posted, and they're giving us stats, they're giving us numbers on everything, and it makes me so happy to see this. It's like they listened. I don't know if they listened to my rant or they listened to the community, but they listened, and all of this is really good. So I'm super happy. This update is amazing. So to actually get into the updates, I'm going to go through the patch notes, but I'm not just going to read them off one by one like a lot of people do on YouTube videos, because that's lame. You guys can read. I don't think that you need help reading. I'm going to give my insight as a seasoned player, and I'm going to tell you exactly how these things will affect the game and what I think of them, rather than just saying, hey, this was adjusted from this to this. Wow. So to start this off, they say the purpose of this update is to improve the feel of gunplay and of weapons, and they want to really make it more responsive and make each weapon more unique and more satisfying to use, rather than how it was before where you were just trying to get that slug rifle or crossbow because you're going to hit people around corners. So the first few things on this list are related to the visuals and the effects, and so I'm not really going to go in depth with them, but basically they updated some crosshairs, they fixed some visuals, and they actually made it more apparent when you hit someone and more gratifying, I guess, when you hit someone with a gun. So that's cool because they add some sounds and some pop-ups and stuff. The next thing is huge. I like how they just ease into this. They're like, oh, we made some effects and we changed the damage scaling for all weapon rarities from 100, 125, 150, and 175 to 100, 120, 140, 160. What this means is that each one of those numbers in order, those four numbers, is from common to rare to epic to legendary. And they changed it so that the guns now do less damage as you go up in rarity. The base damage is the same. So let's say, just hypothetically, I have a pistol that does 100 damage. Before, if I got the legendary version of that pistol, it would do 175 damage, but now it's only going to do 160, and all of those tiers are bumped down. So this means that pretty much every weapon that you can find in the map, even if it's epic, or if you craft the random weapon that isn't your class weapon and you get it legendary, it's not going to be as good as your class weapon. That's what it comes down to. And this is important because it seems like Hi-Rez, even though they added this stuff for the common weapons, they want you to use the legendary class weapons and they want that to be an integral part of the game. And they did this by reducing the damage of everything else so the class weapons are more powerful. And that's really interesting because a few patches ago we had all common weapons as really powerful legendaries, and you were trying to go for those. You wanted that legendary slug rifle, maybe even over an axe. But now, even with the higher cost, legendary weapons are an important part of the game, so you're going to need to be getting shards, folks. And I'm probably going to do a video on how to best collect shards and get your weapons and armor faster, because that's important, really important now with the higher cost. I'm probably going to do a video on that later, but right now we're talking about the update, so let's go to the next point. So next after this, we have a lot of weapon changes, like a lot of changes, and they're all really good. So the first one, all non-class weapons, so that means all weapons that you can find on the map, have a very high projectile speed, standardized to 1500. So basically, every weapon now shoots the same speed projectile besides the class weapon. So that, doesn't count the sniper or the stone spear or stuff like that. But the heirloom, the slug, the crossbow, they're all shooting a high projectile speed standardized to 1500. I can't tell you what 1500 means because they don't tell us, and it's not really like any sort of unit of measurement that we have in the real world. It's just a value in the game. But from playing it, I can tell you it feels really good. It feels fast. And overall, the gunplay that they're talking about, they're trying to improve, it's improved. I feel a lot better when I'm in fights, and I feel a lot better hitting shots. So good on you. The next thing that's changed, which was a huge complaint from the community. Now, last update did a lot of good things, but this was the biggest complaint, the biggest thing that, people were questioning, and it is fixed. It is done. There's no more of it. Hopefully never again. All non-class weapons changed to have a small projectile size. So what that means is that you're not going to be hit around a corner when they can't even see you with a slug rifle or a crossbow. Those were culprits in the last update of being just crazy, terribly overpowered weapons because of their hitboxes. People were picking up green crossbows over golden revolvers and golden other stuff just because you could hit people around walls and it was worth it. And that was bad, but we're done with it. It's over. It's gone. They fixed it, so that's great. I'm really happy about it. Now, for people that suck, this means that you're going to have a harder time hitting those shots, but, that's what it takes. You're going to have to learn the game. So those are all the general changes. Now we're getting into a bunch of weapon changes, and I don't need to talk about all of them, but some of them are notable. So basically the auto rifle has a way higher fire rate and a little bit less damage, so it's going to be a lot easier to hit multiple shots in a row. How I felt about it before was when I had a slug rifle, I would, hit one shot and I got 500 damage maybe. And then when I had the auto rifle, I'd get like 2 shots, I may get like 400 damage. But if you're shoulder peeking in a fight with someone who doesn't suck, you're never going to hit more than 1 auto shot. So I think it's better that the fire rate's upped. I still wouldn't use it, but I think it's better, especially for new people. The next thing they did was they added a burst rifle, and this burst rifle doesn't feel bad, but it doesn't feel good at all. It definitely feels better than the auto rifle, and I actually used it for a bit, and I was like, hey, this doesn't suck, but it also isn't better than any of the weapons of choice I had before. I would still pick up a slug rifle or even an heirloom or other stuff over the burst rifle. But if I found it at the beginning of the game and it was epic, then I would probably use it to shoot people. So I don't know if that tells you anything, but basically it's not terrible, but it's not great. I still don't recommend it, but it has a base DPS of 413 and it shoots triple shots. So that means that every second, if you're shooting consistently over 5 seconds, you're hitting 413 damage a second if you hit all your shots. So not bad, but still, not amazing. The next thing they changed, which is huge, is they reduced the crossbow damage. They added high damage fall off, which means the further away you hit someone from, the longer you snipe from, basically, the less damage you're going to do. But it's always accurate, meaning that wherever you shoot, it's going to travel straight there and not deviate at all to any bloom or anything like that. In my opinion, the crossbow sucks booty cheeks now. It used to be decent because of the hitboxes, and it also had decent-ish damage. Now it sucks big old booty cheeks, so I don't recommend it, but you do you. Heirloom rifle got a change too. It has a faster fire rate and a larger clip size. I still don't love it, but it's whatever. Again, it's probably around the same tier as the burst rifle for me is what I would use. The base DPS is alright, and the faster fire rate helps, but it still just feels clunky shooting it. I don't feel like I'm hitting as many shots, not because of hitboxes or speed or anything. I just don't enjoy it as much. I don't like it, but that's just me. You might like it. I can't tell you on that one. The damage is alright. The revolver got a change, and that change was a high damage fall off added, meaning that the farther away you shoot, like I said before, the less damage you're going to do. And a lot of these guns got damage fall off added. It's actually weird that the burst rifle doesn't have damage fall off, and neither does the auto rifle. So it looks like they're trying to encourage the auto rifle and burst rifle for longer range fights, but they suck for longer range fights. I see them as being good for close to mid range when you're just spamming someone or taking out a chicken maybe. But besides that, I would not use a burst rifle. at any long distance. But that's, like I said, this is all just me, but I don't see these as being super useful weapons in general past the very start of the game. On the shotgun, the post fire was reduced to 1.1 seconds, so basically this means that you're going to be getting shots off faster, and before it felt really sluggish, really slow. Not sluggish as in the slug rifle, because that thing dominates. Sluggish as in, like, I'm walking through a bunch of sludge when I try to shoot this thing. So I definitely think the shotgun is improved now. I still don't know if it's amazing, but it's alright, you know, like, I might use it at the beginning. I still don't recommend it late game, even if you get a golden one, because the range that you have to be for it to be actually effective is very, very close, and I don't think that it's practical. The slug rifle, actually, talking about damage fall off again, got it removed, so the slug rifle can be used in longer range fights and it will deal the full amount of damage that you should be hitting, rather than a reduced damage based on the distance away someone is that you're shooting. Overall, I think the slug rifle still dominates. I'm still taking it to late game if I get an epic or golden one. Before, it was crazy good because of the hitboxes, but even without the crazy hitboxes being big, it's still crazy good. It still does really good damage, it has a good fire rate, it has no damage fall off now. Overall, there's like nothing wrong with it. It's just a solid weapon, so I recommend getting good with this because it's definitely one of the better weapons in the game, and it's also not hard to find on the map. So if you get good at it, you're going to have a likely chance of getting it, so it's not going to be a struggle to try to get it like some people do with the bow, and it's still going to be doing decent damage, and it'll be overall a well-rounded weapon. Next up on the list, we have some ability changes. Now, I think everyone saw this coming, but the fireball got nerfed. It has less damage now, so before you would be hitting 900 damage with a legendary one, now you're hitting 720. And the other tiers are reduced likewise. Similar to the fireball, the blast shot on the hunter got its damage nerfed as well. It went from 750 to 560. But keep in mind, the blast shot's not supposed to be a replacement for the fireball. The blast shot has a larger damage radius once it hits, it travels faster, and it has a lower cooldown, I believe. So overall, blast shot is sort of balanced compared to the fireball because it has better properties, but it does less damage. Lastly, in abilities, we got the assassin concussion bomb changed in damage, and it actually got a nerf as well. I feel that this was one of the most important nerfs in this patch. Say what you will, the concussion bomb is the best ability in the game. It is the assassin's main movement ability, even though you have the blink. The concussion bomb travels much farther. It's the assassin's main movement ability. It's the main ability for offensive play. You throw it at people and hit them up in the air and then shoot them. You've seen Summit do it. You've seen all these big people do it. It's what you do with the concussion bomb. And it did 600 damage before? What? Anyway, I don't know how everyone slept on that, but it definitely needed a nerf. I think that this is a good nerf. I think that it's balanced now, or more balanced at least. It's still a crazy good ability, so I recommend trying it out if you play Assassin. But besides that, that's all the ability changes. Next on the list, and last thing to cover, we have armor changes, and this is crazy, guys. This is the biggest change in the update, probably. Players now start with a base armor of 400. Now keep in mind, guys, back when I started playing, you didn't start with any armor and you picked up white armor for 50 armor points apiece. They changed so much about armor since I started playing, and it's crazy because before, armor was such a necessary part of the game. You'd be crafting armor at the beginning because if you didn't, you get one shot by somebody. But now you get so much armor so quickly, you don't even need legendary armor. Like you do if you want the little stat boost. I mean, I definitely would like a legendary helmet for the cooldown reduction, but besides that, guys, legendary armor is almost optional. Like you can get to 1,000 armor points without legendary armor. That's crazy. Anyway, so the max armor piece reduced from 100 to 160 to blah 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 to 80, 120, 160, and 200. This means that if you have all legendary armor, you're getting 200 armor points per each of those legendary armor pieces. Before it was 300, but with this added 400 base armor stat, now it only is 200. Now this is a crazy change in the game, and not a lot of people realize it. A lot of people are like, oh, whatever, you know, extra health. I guess they don't want people dying so fast, and I think that's part of it. They don't want people dying so quickly in the beginning if they just get insta one-tapped with a headshot. But the other thing about this that no one realizes is that in the beginning, at least for me, I was going for health potions. If I didn't have like 2 or 3 health potions entering a fight, I didn't do it in the beginning, or at least not confidently, because I knew I'd need to heal up because I didn't have any armor, and so I couldn't use armor potions if I found them. And when you're going to those potion boxes, you have a 50-50 chance at armor or health potions, so you don't get to choose. But now if you get armor potions out of it, when you take damage, you can use those and replenish some sort of health, some sort of protection. And that's big, because I would sometimes get just all armor potions. I'd be going to fights with 4 armor potions, but only like 200 armor points, and it's like, how much is this actually going to help me? But now you're getting a lot more armor points when you start, so you don't need to worry about that, and it's really changing the dynamic of the early game. It's much more aggressive now, at least from what I've noticed, because you don't need to stress as much about health potions. So what do I think of that? I don't know if I like it, to be honest. I don't know. It's just different. I definitely don't think that they should go any farther than this with the armor increases and the overall accommodations in the beginning of the match. I think that there needs to be some RNG in it, to be honest. I know that this game is very less RNG based than Fortnite or PUBG or any other Battle Royale, because you have a lot more to utilize that isn't just finding a really good weapon at the beginning. But with that being said, I really think that some of a Battle Royale, some of the fun part is RNG, and I don't think that there should be any more accommodations. I think this is alright, but I don't think that they should go any farther in this direction, or else it could start hurting the game. Anyway guys, that is all for today's video. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. Be sure to subscribe if you did. And also be sure to subscribe, because I'm going to be doing a giveaway for the alpha pack. Actually, 2 alpha packs are going to you guys when I hit 500 subs. We've been growing like crazy recently. We went up like 150 subs in the last week, and so I think 500 is pretty close, and we're giving away 2 alpha packs when I get there. So be sure to subscribe and turn notifications on so you know when that is happening, because I don't want you guys missing out on the alpha packs. I mean, have you seen the horse? Also, be sure to like this video if you like these kinds of videos. I have gotten great reception in the past, and I plan on doing more, so just be sure to tell me that by liking the video as well as commenting. And I think that's it, so until next time guys, peace.